Folks, originally I had a different opening planned for today's episode, being that it is officially Thanksgiving Eve, and this is the time that most of us choose to express thankfulness. That is the theme of Thanksgiving. But I'm angry. I'm angry because there has been yet another shooting, an unnecessary, a senseless shooting. All these shootings are senseless. This one makes no sense because it happened in Washington, D.C., because these two National Guardsmen that were shot were deployed under the guise of law enforcement for which they are not trained. It's senseless because they shouldn't have been there. They were spending their time deployed in DC instead of, that law enforcement thing they were supposed to be doing. They were spending their time landscaping and collecting garbage. They should not have been there. The suspect has been caught. He has been loaded into an ambulance and sent to the hospital, where the other two, where the two National Guardsmen, thankfully, are still alive. Now, it is touch and go. They are in critical condition, so they are fighting for their lives. So I know our thoughts and prayers have not been working in terms of, stopping gun violence, but I'm just going to say a little prayer of healing. And I hope you guys will join me in that and put all of our positive energy and our healing thoughts and prayers into a strong recovery for these two servicemen. With that said, I am thankful also to have watched the birth of 5 kittens, 5 kittens in my house, despite the fact that the cat in center stage there, her name is Birdie. I didn't want anything to do with Birdie. She started coming around, and my wife loves animals, and so she started feeding this cat, and I was like, no, what are you doing? If you feed him, they will never go away. And sure enough, she named the cat, so now the cat is just here. And, so that the cat was able to give birth to kittens in a nice, safe, and warm environment, we brought them in. And I was happy. I was really... I was awestruck by this. Like, I've watched all 3 of my adult sons be born. I've watched that. This was different. It was, it was very different, and it's adorable. Today we took one of so these kittens' names are Chicky, Ducky, Fat Louie, Goose, and Bear. It's Goose that is underweight. Goose has not been getting his share of milk. We actually don't even know if it's a boy or girl yet, but I'm saying him. We don't know that what gender Goose is, but we do know that we've been weighing these kittens every day, and so Goose is falling behind his siblings. So they gave us a thing. Has like a little nipple on the end of it, and we're supposed to give Goose some milk every 2 hours if he continues to not get enough from his mama. So cute. So cute. These kittens are adorable. Okay. Yeah. So I am also thankful. It is officially holiday season, which means that I am thankful for the opportunity to trigger some MAGAs by saying happy holidays wherever I go. When I go into a store, I will go out of my way not to say Merry Christmas, even though in my heart I am saying Merry Christmas, but specifically say happy holidays and hope somebody gives me a cross-eyed look. Happy holidays. Because who gives a fuck about the Christmas? I am also thankful that we have some quick patriots who are more than happy and willing to stuff Donald Trump Jr. into a locker when he says stupid things like, how long till a leftist federal judge reverses the Turkey's pardons? Like, dude, can't you just let it be Thanksgiving? And every president from however long they've been doing this pardoning of turkeys thing, they've pardoned the turkeys. It hasn't been a partisan thing. There's no reason to inject your bullshit in there. But since you did, and his father did too, it was ridiculous. What does Joe Biden have to do with pardoning a turkey while you're in office? Like, can you just keep the man's name out your mouth? So David Levitt says, how long until we find out that the pardoned turkeys funneled millions of dollars to the Trump family buying their cryptocurrency? Boom. Turnbull says, how long until we find out that these turkeys donated $5 million to Trump's ballroom fund? And I'm sure the merriment continued. I was not interested in any more of it, but I'm thankful for that. Oh, I am still thankful. still thankful. When you look at the sun and then you close your eyes, you're not supposed to look at the sun, but inevitably we all do. When you look at the sun and then you close your eyes and you can still see, you can still see the remnants of that. I still can see the look of wonderment, the look of love from Donald Trump as he gazed glazingly at Zoran Mamdani. That was an amazing meeting. And I say that because, I was I was stunned. I didn't even know what to say. I was laughing my ass off because he did a complete 180. He went from calling him a Jew hater and a communist and somebody who would destroy New York City to being asked by a reporter, would you be comfortable living in a city run by Zoran Mamdani? He was like, yep, you betcha. Hilarious. I am also thankful to have a good seat, I don't know if it's front row, maybe second or third row seat, to watch Marjorie Taylor Greene have it out with some members of MAGA. Who's even to say who is MAGA now? Is it her? Because Marjorie Taylor Greene, and let me make this clear. I am not a fan of hers, no way, shape, or form. But that doesn't exempt me. That doesn't that doesn't mean that I can't enjoy watching my enemies fight each other. I enjoy this. So this guy Cernovich, I think his first name is Mike, said, you need to serve out your full term. And she says, oh, I haven't suffered enough for you while you post all day behind a screen? Do I have to stay until I'm assassinated like our friend Charlie Kirk? Will that be good enough for you then? Shit posting on the internet all day isn't fighting. Get off your ass and run for Congress. I fought harder than anyone in the real arena, not social media. Put down your little pebbles and put your money where your mouth is. That deserves a boom. That's a boom. Again, not a fan. Not a fan of Marjorie Taylor Greene, but oh boy, I could stand by and roast some marshmallows at the dumpster fire that is happening on the right. And it's not just Marjorie Taylor Greene and her beef, her separation, her divorce from Donald Trump, but it's spread out. It's sprawling. It is a big, you could call it a civil war, because there are many different factions. There's some shit going on. It's not just Marjorie Taylor Greene, announcing that she's retiring because she got threats. It's more than that. It's a lot more than that. And we are going to get into that when we discuss the MAGA civil war today. And there are some other things we have to discuss. We have to discuss, obviously, we just discussed the National Guard thing. We're also going to talk about this crazy witch hunt, for lack of a better term, that Pete Hegseth and Trump have launched on what they are calling the Seditious Six. And last but not least, also, we're going to cover those pesky foreign bots that are all over Twitter now. So without further ado, I hope you're ready, because I am. Let's go. Storytime. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Storytime with BDD. I'm your host, BDD, aka Brooklyn Dad. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Usually this show is Friday, but it is on Wednesday today, because tonight is Thanksgiving Eve, and I will not be here on Friday. Hopefully, I will be enjoying a nice food coma and plenty of leftovers, despite the fact that the Trump economy has spiked prices of everything everywhere, from coffee to beef to vegetables and fruits. Everything is up. So despite that, yeah, I'm not big on beef anyway. So so I will be eating chicken. And it's funny that earlier today, J.D. Vance gave a speech to some service members, and he was talking up chicken and saying, "No, don't eat turkey, don't eat turkey, eat chicken, because turkey is up, I think 75% or some ridiculous amount. It's ridiculous." Anyway, so I want to say thank you to those of you who have joined from Twitter. I see there's a Roger Stone here who is, he's not a fan. He is a troll. He says, let's see. He says, "Your point is irrelevant. They're citizens. They can be anywhere." That is Roger Stone disagreeing with my my point that the shooting was pointless. The shooting was pointless. Their deployment in Washington, D.C. was pointless, because crime had already been going down, despite the fact that Donald Trump claimed that there was zero murders, zero murders in the past 6 months. He was off by, about 123. Let's see. So we got... September rain is good. This is how long do we find out the turkeys are stuffed with the Epstein files? That's a good one there. Mike Philbrook, thank you for joining. Jack Know It. It says cows love you. The Trump Reaper is here. Samantha Hawkins is here. Ness from Connecticut. Excuse me. WIA says, mentally ill people are the problem, not guns. I'm glad you brought that up because the Trump administration has cut funding for mental illness, mental illness treatment. So why would he do that? Let's see. Martin Zelig is here. Wilbur McCarthy, what's up, my friend? KTS711 is here. King, who has reposted this stream, thank you so much for doing that. Silver Sterling Rose is here. Sharon Landry. Excuse me. The damn fisherman says, you sound like a damn fool. You would know, wouldn't you? Let's see. Claudia is here. Blockchain Hedge says, you sound actually mentally slow. Did you have a traumatic head injury? Would make a lot of sense. Well, thank you for your concern. No, there hasn't been any traumatic head injury. But hey, at least I'm not falling asleep in the middle of the workday, in the middle of a big meeting, like Donald Trump is doing. So, and he's bragging about passing a cognitive decline test. Let's see. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into what I like to call the stories of the day.
Stories of the day.
All right, so our main story is the MAGA Civil War, and you can see some figures there on the screen. In addition to the, this is a screenshot of the Ivanka Trump News Twitter account, which was based apparently in Nigeria, despite thousands upon thousands of pro-America first, pro-Trump tweets. So many of his fans are not even in the country. Isn't that funny? Yeah, so the picture that you see there is what many imagine to be a bot farm. You can see phones and tablets and devices all hooked up to one control thing. I'm not sure that that's how it works, but we're going to get into that. And also, there's a ridiculous. It shouldn't even be a story in the news anymore. But Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, has decided that he is going to investigate Mark Kelly for telling members of the military that they do not have to follow illegal orders. What's wrong with that? It's common sense, right? In fact, it's so common sense that even J.D. Vance said something very similar to that today. You betcha. We'll get into that as well. Last but not least, MAGA is all over the place. And, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Trump are fighting. Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro are fighting. Candace Owens is fighting with everybody. And everybody is fighting with America First is fighting Israel First, which apparently is a part of MAGA, believe it or not. And a lot of it centers around the death of Charlie Kirk. So we're going to get into that as well. I Also, if this is your first time here, please hit the subscribe and like button. The like button looks like the thumbs up, and the subscribe button is in your lower right-hand corner of your screen. My Substack this week was titled Why Trump Suddenly Fell in Love with Zohran Mamdani. The 45 minutes without reporters that explain everything. And it was interesting because prior to this meeting, a lot of people were concernicus because there were not going to be any cameras allowed for like the first part of their meeting. And so there was a lot of people that thought he was walking into an ambush like they did to President Zelensky. That couldn't be further from what actually transpired, and it was amazing. Zohran Mamdani is a charismatic, very intelligent, very dynamic, and very disciplined individual. This was such an insane, bizarre world display that I actually became a little bit obsessed with it, determined to dissect exactly how and why Trump flipped his Mamdani hate into a love fest with his new communist Muslim bro. He's called him a radical left lunatic, a 100% communist lunatic, and a, quote, self-professed Jew hater one day before the election. And to add insult to injury, he even told 60 Minutes the objectively blatant lie that he was much better looking person than the handsome 34-year-old. Look, that's objective. It's objective fact right there. You cannot look at the two men side by side, Mamdani and Donald Trump, and think that Trump is better looking. If you do, then you need a cognitive decline test as well. Many admirers of the Muslim mayor-elect were concerned that a similar sneak attack awaited Mamdani, like the Zelensky sneak attack. They lamented the fact that the first 30 to 45 minutes were off limits to the press, no cameras allowed. So what happened while the cameras were off? Here is where some of my own speculation kicks in. I genuinely believe Mamdani walked into that room with a game plan, not just hoping for a decent meeting, but prepared to use Trump's weaknesses against him. We're going to get into that in a little bit too, because Steve Witkoff, who is on Trump's team, Trump's envoy to Russia, gave away the game plan. He strikes me as smart enough to recognize that before the cameras clicked on, all he had to do was convince Trump that being amiable and supportive was in Trump's best interest. Guys, it is pathetic. I'm not going to ask you if it's pathetic. I'm telling you, it is pathetic if every person on the planet knows that the way to Trump, the way to getting Trump to like you, is through his ego. It's not through his stomach. It is through his ego. You say a few nice things to him and about him. You maybe talk about the fact, oh man, I can't believe they didn't give you the the Nobel Peace Prize. He will be your best friend at that point. You're so smart. Oh, now he wants to marry you. And I'm almost certain that's not the only thing that transpired, but that's part of why we saw what we saw, why we saw that sudden about face by Donald Trump. So that is on my Substack. I would love for you to take a look at it. I'm very proud of it. It is brilliant, if I do say so myself. Let's talk about Kash Patel, who is now unfortunately tasked with finding out what happened today. And I say unfortunately because, let's be honest, you know it, I know it. MAGA, you know it too. Kash Patel has no business being in the position he is in as FBI director. He has no business being there. He is a clown. He is a joke. He is a podcaster. He might have been good as a podcaster. You know, he might be good maybe working under somebody in the FBI in a very limited capacity. But as the FBI director, all he's been doing is jet setting around the country with his girlfriend, misusing resources. He's he's redirected like SWAT members of the SWAT team to protect his girlfriend. Are you kidding me, bro? That's ridiculous. So yesterday, an MS Now exclusive revealed that, quote, President Trump is considering removing Kash Patel as FBI director in the coming months as he and his top aides have grown increasingly frustrated by the unflattering headlines Patel has recently generated. Now, I know if you, MAGA, if you're out there, you're listening, I can hear your buttholes clenching. You're like, he's wrong. That's fake news. Carolyn Levitt said so yesterday. Yeah, Carolyn Levitt, that bastion of truth. She said, she posted, this story is completely made up. In fact, when this fake news published, I was in the Oval Office where President Trump was meeting with his law enforcement team, including FBI Director Kash Patel. I read the headline to the president and he laughed. He said, what? That's totally false. Come on, Kash, let's take a picture to show them you're doing a great job. Do not believe the fake news. I'm sorry to tell you this, Caroline, but nobody believes you anymore. Your credibility is in the toilet, is in the crapper. You've lied too many times. You are even worse than Kellyanne, what's her name? Kellyanne Conway, than Kayleigh McEnany. Damn, that's weird. Okay. Those are two KMs. This is a K. He's got three Ks. Three Ks as his press secretaries. That's weird. Yeah, she's not a believable source. Here's what is going to happen. What is going to happen is that to throw everybody off because he hates it when when a leak gets out. Damn it. Who told them I was going to fire Kash? Now I got to wait. And that's what's going to happen. He is going to wait a month, maybe 6 weeks, top 8 weeks, the max, right? And in the meantime, Kash Patel can pretend to be working on getting into figuring out what happened today with those two National Guardsmen. But really, you know, his days are numbered with the FBI. Oh yeah. Hey, listen. Great news, everyone. Trump Care is finally it's finally here. Yes, that healthcare plan that Donald Trump promised for years and years and years, it is at last, finally, it is here. It is ready for, it's ready to be unveiled. And let me just play this for you. I'm going to share with you this this news update. It's amazing. Check it out.
We're learning President Trump is planning to unveil a new health care proposal. And at this point, we're still waiting to know exactly what's in it. But we're told it could include a temporary extension of the Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies, which are due to expire at the end of the year. They were at the center of the government shutdown. However, the subsidies could come with some fresh guardrails that could include new income limits and a requirement that everyone pay some form of a premium. Now, we should note that if the subsidies do expire, millions of Americans are expected to see their premiums more than double next year. Zach Cooper is joining us now. He's a professor of health policy at Yale University. Zach, thanks for being here. As I noted, we are very much still waiting for specifics here. I'm sorry, this has actually been, sorry, Zach, we're getting breaking news while I'm talking to you. I have learned that the White House has postponed its expected unveiling of this new health care proposal. It was expected to be unveiled today. We'll learn more, hopefully, about that in the coming moments. But again,
it's perfect. It is perfect that that happened while she was literally introducing the the Trump care thing. You couldn't script that any better. Hilarious. No. So yeah, one minute she's giving the intro to the unveiling of Trump care, and the next minute, so I guess we're gonna have to wait another 2 weeks, which in Trump language is like 2 years, 2 decades. Who knows? It's anybody's guess. But here's the issue, guys. And when I say guys, I'm talking to everybody, not just my peeps here, but you too, MAGA, okay? Listen up, right? Healthcare is important. Now, this might sound very basic and very duh to you, but I don't think everybody understands how important it is. Let's talk about catastrophic care. Nobody likes to think about it. Nobody likes to think about what the fuck happens if you get really, really sick and you need to stay in a hospital. Okay? That happens. Believe it or not, it happens. It hasn't happened to you yet, maybe, but I'm sure it's happened to somebody you know, whether it's a relative or a coworker or whatever. It happens. And when it does, it changes lives. Some people have to sell their homes. Some people have to just, say, well, I can't afford that procedure. And that is the truth. Medical care doesn't care who you voted for. Diseases, cancer, pre-existing conditions don't give a shit if you supported Trump 3 times in a row. They don't care if you supported Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. It doesn't care. What Democrats had been fighting for all throughout the shutdown, when Republicans were trying to say, oh, this is a Democrat shutdown. Oh, this is a Schumer shutdown. What we were fighting for was to extend the ACA subsidies, the Affordable Care Act subsidies. And sadly, I have to call it the Affordable Care Act, not Obamacare, because Obamacare is a term that is loaded with resentment. There's a lot of people, including Donald Trump, who hate President Obama and as such are using the word Obamacare to turn people off from the Affordable Care Act. Here's a fun fact. There's at least half of MAGA who say they love the Affordable Care Act. They don't like Obamacare. It's the same fucking thing. Same thing. And at the end of the day, the Affordable Care Act has issues. It's not perfect. It could be better. We could be paying less. I would love to pay less. I would love to have more benefits. If Donald Trump can do that, if he can fix Obamacare and improve it, call it Trump care. I don't care. I will call it Trump care. If he makes a better health care package, I will happily call it Trump care. Happily. What it's called is irrelevant. What it does is important. And Democrats have been fighting for not just other Democrats. They've been fighting for Republicans. They've been fighting for people who are unaffiliated. They've been fighting for Americans just to extend the goddamn subsidies, the things that make that health care less expensive, affordable. So we don't have to like each other, love each other, or even like each other. We don't even have to really get along. But you do have to talk to your elected officials and demand that they extend those subsidies. That's all. You don't have to admit that Donald Trump lost in 2020. You don't have to say you love Obama or Joe Biden or anything. None of that stuff. Just ask for the subsidies, for the fucking subsidies to be extended. For some people, it's a matter of life or death. It's that simple. Let's continue. 2 weeks. 2 weeks is when we'll see what happens 2 weeks from now if we get a reveal, a grand reveal. Check back with me 2 weeks from now. Okay, so as we discussed earlier, this weekend, Elon Musk activated a feature in Twitter that reveals where people are, right? And so, like, where people's accounts, Twitter accounts, are based. So we started seeing all over the place. Like, for instance, Ivanka News, this account had 1 million followers, wasn't even based in America. It was based in Nigeria. MAGA Nation, I think, had over 300,000 followers, based in Eastern Europe, non-EU, so most likely Russia. And what's crazy about this is that Elon Musk swore that he was interested in removing bots from the platform, right? And what did we find this weekend? So many Elon bots everywhere, from Nigeria, from India, from Bangladesh, all over the place. Russia. And so you have these Elon private chat, Elon CEO Tesla, so many Elon account, Doge father, insane. So ever since people blew this up, Elon Musk has now deactivated that. So excuse me, you can't tell if someone is from Nigeria or wherever. But I did want to draw your attention to this. This is another little thing that Elon has been doing for a while now. He cherry picks incidents in the news that make it look like there is some kind of black violence on white people that is like out of control, like it's a thing. And he does this, he focuses on it, he uses his 233 million follower platform to try to create a narrative that this is an issue. Those of you who were alive back when, back in the 80s, when George H.W. Bush was running for president, and they had this Willie Horton ad, it was a very racist ad. Basically, they showed a picture of a rough-looking dude named Willie Horton who was released from jail, and now he's going nuts. And it was very effective because it touched on people's fears and ignorance. They equated black person with escaped prisoner, violent, et cetera, and it's a very base kind of thing, and this is what he's doing now. And I just want to bring your attention to this because black people are not the problem. Latino people are not the problem. Trans people are not the problem. I should say the problem in your lives. They are not. Problem is the millionaires and the billionaires who are distracting us with bullshit like that while they pick our pockets. And when I say they pick our pockets, they are picking our pockets. That big, beautiful bill that they passed, 100% makes their lives better and our lives worse. It's literally the opposite of Robin Hood. They're robbing from the poor to give to the rich. And the folks that you get into these little skirmishes with online on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, whatever, these people that are defending the billionaires and the millionaires, they are part of this fucking these bot farms. All right. So don't waste your time and your energy with them. If you got people who are defending the rights of millionaires and billionaires to keep you poor and dumb, it's a fool's errand. Yeah. Careful, mate. That foreigner wants your cookie. That's what they want. They want us thinking that, the poor, hardworking Mexican who's waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, arriving at work at 5, working for less than minimum wage all day until the sun goes down. They think that guy, they want you to think that guy is causing your life to be less. It's not him. Trans people, come on. Trans people represent less than 1% of the American population. Why is everybody in an uproar about letting men and women sports? That's not a thing. That's not a thing. It's happening in a handful of cases. You guys are acting like it's out of control. It's everywhere. Oh! These are called wedge issues. And millionaires and the billionaires, they have us fighting amongst each other to distract from the fact that they are picking our pockets. I showed this picture because that's more accurate. Elon Musk is the world's richest person who could take half of his wealth and solve most of the world's problems and still not be hurting for cash. Let's talk about the Ukraine deal. This thing is a freaking disaster. I said earlier I was going to talk about the fact that Steve Witkoff, Trump's envoy, his special envoy, let the cat out of the bag, even though he didn't have to do this. Russians already know how to manipulate Donald Trump. You think Vladimir Putin needs you to tell him how to do what he's already good at? That's like you run into Lamar Jackson, quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, and try to tell him how to throw a spiral. They know they don't need your help with this. But Witkoff advised Russia on how to pitch Ukraine plan to Trump. So this Ukraine plan that they came up with, when I say they came up with, I mean Russia came up with. Ukraine plan does not favor Ukraine at all. At all. It's Ukraine gives up plenty, Russia gives up nothing, take it or leave it. But to sell it, Steve Witkoff suggested here in the text here, he says, I would make the call and just reiterate that you congratulate the president on this achievement, that you supported it. You supported it, that you respect that he is a man of peace. He's talking about the Gaza peace plan. You're really glad to have seen it happen. So I would say that. I think from that, it's going to be a really good call. So everybody knows, the secret is out. Everybody knows if you want to manipulate Donald Trump, fluff him. Fluff him up. Make him feel good about himself. Tell him nice things. And now this bullshit. So sick of this. So a couple of weeks ago, Senator Mark Kelly and 5 other members of Congress from the House and from the Senate, they got together and they put a video together that informed active military members that they do not have to follow illegal orders. In fact, I'm pretty sure I have that here. We have to play this because I don't understand why there is such consternation behind this. I mean, it's basic. It's English, and I do not have it. I don't have it. Anyway, you guys have seen this video. I'm not gonna play it. It's all of those members of Congress basically just telling him, you sworn an oath to the Constitution. You do not have to follow an illegal order. So what's an illegal order? They didn't specify what an illegal order is, because to do that, Donald Trump at one day might say, why don't you shoot those protesters? The next day he might say, oh, why don't you shoot them in the legs? So to get too specific means you're kind of limiting the scope of what you need to impress upon these active military members. They didn't say in the video, and you can look at the video for yourself. The video doesn't say you must disobey all orders from the president. It doesn't say anything like that at all. So on the one hand, you have Pete Hegseth, who is a former Fox News contributor, weekend contributor. And then you have, on the other hand, you have Senator Mark Kelly, who's a former naval officer. He's a former astronaut and a current sitting U.S. senator. This thing is the most ridiculous thing that is in the news right now. It boggles the mind. It's not one of those things like that. It's not one of those things that's up for interpretation. It's just plain English. It's straight English. If you read the transcript of the video, nowhere does it say you must disobey all of Donald Trump's or any of Donald Trump's orders. It says you do not have to. Let's see. You can refuse illegal orders. Donald Trump posted seditious behavior punishable by death. Those of you who are trying to take this incident today, this shooting in Washington, D.C., and say that their rhetoric has caused this shooting, fuck you. You're full of shit. That's bullshit. This is Donald Trump telling his millions of followers that the members of Congress should be punished by death. He is retruthed below there. It says, hang them, George Washington would. And he posted that, to affirm that he supports that idea. Don't tell me about us, about our rhetoric being irresponsible when the president of the United States is spreading that bullshit. So Pete Hegseth says here in the statement from the Department of War, may include recall to active duty. So he's talking about recalling Senator Kelly to active duty so that he can court-martial him for his participation in this video in which he simply states a fact that you can refuse illegal orders. Guess what? That is true. Service members are not required to follow orders that are unlawful, which includes those that violate the Constitution, U.S. laws, or international law. If a service member follows an unlawful order, they can be held liable and may face prosecution. Examples of clearly unlawful orders include those that direct the torture of prisoners or the intentional killing of civilians. Those of you who have been paying attention know that Mark Esper, the former Trump Secretary of Defense, told 60 Minutes that Donald Trump asked him if he could shoot protesters. unarmed protesters. And he told them no. That's why we have drunken Pete Kegsbreath as our Secretary of Defense, because Pete is too stupid to know the difference. He's just happy to be in the room. He's happy to be there with all that power. And a makeup room, apparently. Donald Trump himself posted this plaque that says loyalty. Donald Trump posted this, and let me just read what it says here. It says, second paragraph, second sentence says, our American Code of Military Obedience requires that should orders and the law ever conflict, our officers must obey the law. Guys, that is exactly the same. Our officers must obey the law is the same thing as saying you can refuse illegal orders. It hurts my brain that that people who are Ivy League college educated are pretending like it's saying anything other than what it is saying. So I have a solution. I think I would like to propose a solution for bullshit like this. Something like this, a story like this, should not be continued in the news for weeks upon weeks. This is ridiculous. If you look outside and you see that it's sunny, or let's say you think it's raining outside, it's likely not raining tomato sauce. Okay, can we assume that it's not tomato sauce? It's water, right? It's very simple, guys. So back in the day, there used to be this thing called a Gang of Eight. Ness from Connecticut, thank you, my friend, for the super sticker. I appreciate you. The Gang of Eight was a group of Democrats and Republicans who got together to solve problems. I think the one that these guys were focused on was immigration, which we really got nowhere with, but we absolutely do need to get somewhere with immigration, because what's happening right now with Trump trying to deport millions of people, whether they are violent criminals or criminals at all, that shit ain't working. That's not working. What would work is to have a group of people from both parties who are somewhat respected. So you definitely, obviously, have to cross several people off this off this list. You can't have Chuck Schumer there. Chuck Schumer's time is finished, I think. Mitch McConnell's done. This is just an example of what they used to do in the past. In fact, I would probably suggest 12 people. I would suggest 3 independents. That leaves 9. 4 independents. 4 independents, 4 Democrats, and 4 Republicans, right? That's 12. And the idea is it would be a congressional commission on reality. And the bottom line is this. You look out the window and it's raining. All 12 people should be able to agree that it is not raining ragu sauce, that it is water. Simple things. It should be a committee. No more of this alternative facts bullshit. It's ridiculous. Oh, I'm just going to believe this because that's what I feel like believing, because I'm a Republican or whatever, This thing that happened with the some people thought it was a blue dress, a black and blue dress. Some people thought it was white and gold. It was ridiculous. And bottom line is that this thing was it was a lighting issue. And this Congressional Commission on Reality they would get together and hash these things out and then present what they found. And then both parties would have to accept it because it was a meeting of the minds, right? You have to, and the idea is, in order for this to work, you have to speak in good faith. The 12 people involved in this commission, they have to have good faith intentions. They have to want to solve problems. They have to not want to be partisan, And that doesn't mean just going along to get along. Really, if you have serious misgivings about things, and this could be for gun control. This could be for immigration. It could be for a whole host of issues that America is constantly wrestling with itself over, but never really getting anywhere with. Every election, these issues become wedge issues. They become issues that you use them to gin up support and get people all riled up and go to the polls because I don't want, X happening. We need something like this where it's like a meeting of the minds. It's an honest meeting of the minds. It is exhausting to constantly have to fight to get people to agree that no, it is not raining tomato sauce out there, for crying out loud. All right. You guys remember this dress thing? I'm curious to think what you guys think about that idea, that congressional commission on reality. Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think it will accomplish something? Let me know in the comments, please. And now let's address this MAGA civil war that is very, very real. It's not just, like every other week, Elon Musk likes to post civil war in England or civil war. That's his thing now. He loves to announce civil wars. This is an actual civil war. Marjorie Taylor Greene, whether you like her or dislike her, she is one of the most prominent figures in the Republican Party next to Trump. She has kind of elevated herself above like the Ted Cruz's and the Mitch McConnells. They are kind of irrelevant now. And she kind of has her finger on the pulse of the MAGA community. And she has made it clear that she is upset that Donald Trump has not held up his end of the bargain. He is not delivered on certain promises. What she's mainly upset about has been, it started off being just the Epstein files, his cagey, refusal to release the Epstein files was her issue initially. Then she had a problem with with healthcare, and then she had a problem with the price of groceries. That the fact that he wasn't focusing on that he was focusing on anything but that. And then she had a problem with his giving 20 or $40 billion to Argentina. So she had a lot of legitimate issues that people on the left were like, fuck, how am I agreeing with this one? There's a lot of us who were like, well, is this Freaky Friday? What is happening? Because on one hand, John Fetterman appears to be applying to MAGA for membership, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is not applying to the Democratic Party for membership. She still is. She is still 100% Republican, but she's kind of done with Donald Trump. So this beef, as I said earlier, has several factions. There's Ben Shapiro versus Tucker Carlson. There's Candace Owens versus Turning Point USA. I have a picture of Erica Kirk there because she is Turning Point USA, and there's a whole thing behind that. But she is not accepting, Candace Owens is not accepting the official version of events of what transpired when Charlie Kirk died. And then last but not least, there's the Make Israel Great Again faction versus the America First faction. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're saying, initially wanted to run for Senate. And the story is that Donald Trump advised her against it, that he said that there was no chance for her to win. And the reason that she's gone all out pissing in Trump's cornflakes, which he'd probably like, the reason that she's fighting him at every turn is to get back at him for denying her a chance to run for Senate, for not endorsing her. But this has turned nasty. It's turned nasty, and she has decided that she is not going to run for re-election. January 5th, I think, is her last day in the House, and that will possibly open up a seat in the House unless she gets replaced by another Republican. But meanwhile, Donald Trump is now opening up opposition on his right. And that's a problem because I'm hearing left and right that Republicans, that she's not the last person who is going to be leaving office in 2026. You can bookmark this video that you heard it here first. She's just the first. She's the canary in the coal mine, and there's a whole lot more people who are planning to leave. And the Epstein issue, this was a seriously unforced error. Look, if you're innocent, if you have nothing to worry about, and you know in your heart, if you had nothing to do with any young girls, you know you're in the clear. Open it, yeah. Let's release these files. But the fact that he's gone out of his way, he's bent over backwards to prevent these files from seeing the light of day. It's not a good look. I don't care what you say, MAGA. I don't care what, oh, why didn't Joe Biden, shut up with that, why didn't Joe Biden release it? Joe, first of all, for the Epsteinth time, those Epstein files were locked away. And the Supreme Court kept giving them extensions to keep them locked away. So nobody could touch them until December of 2024. It is what it is. But Donald Trump is the one who ran on releasing the Epstein files. Why would he do that? Because he assumed that that it was only going to be Democrats, that were going to be exposed. And then Kash Patel got a look at it. And then Pam Bondi got a look at it. And suddenly it turned from, oh, the Epstein list is on my desk, to there is no Epstein list. And then Donald Trump turned it into, it's a hoax. And then it was then it was Hillary Clinton and Obama created this thing. So here's one of the prominent MAGA account, right? This is Ann Vandersteel. For some reason these days, I'm getting all of these MAGA things in my feed right now. I don't want them, but they keep popping up. So I am watching and reading a lot of this content now. Ann Vandersteel says it's over. The whole MAGA psyop is over. It's America only, ride or die. Don't slide into my DMs whining about flipping on Trump. No, he flipped on us. Watch this video and tell me where you do not agree. And if you come at me with some 5D chess crap, you're going to get a block. Why is Epstein the dividing line? Why are the talking parrot head influencers still backing someone who has done the following and telling us we are not America first and that we are panicans? I am America first, full stop. Loyalty is a two-way street. So this is someone who identifies herself as an information war correspondent, right? She is not friends with us, guys, just so you know, right? She's still 100% MAGA, but she is furious about what she sees as a betrayal by Donald Trump to live up to his promises. And I watched this guy here, the video that she is referring to, and it is kind of interesting. I'm watching a lot of this shit so you guys don't have to, but I do want you to check out a minute of what this guy has to say. It's very interesting.
Tonight's intel briefing is going to piss some people off. Good. That means you're awake. Because what we're watching right now isn't 4D chess. It isn't a grand strategy. And it sure as hell isn't the America First movement we signed up for. This is the collapse of an illusion. Some say maybe a mask slipping. A movement shedding its skin and revealing something else. So buckle up, because I'm going to walk you through the facts. Not fantasy. Not the fan fiction, not that cult scripture being pumped out by the blue check influencers, the bought and paid force, but the actual timeline. And when you see everything lined up, you'll understand why millions of people are waking up this week and asking one question: what the hell is happening? Okay. So the first domino, Doge. Let's start with the announcement nobody wants to talk about. Doge, the office that was supposed to restructure the government, reduce spending, drain the swamp, all the stuff we were promised to be dissolved, like the Fort Knox audit and so on. No dramatic showdown, no swamp creatures dragged out of their cubicles. It's just gone. 8 months left on the mandate, and it gets quietly shut down like a failed tech startup. Now, we know that Elon and Trump had some friction a while back. Elon stated Trump was in the Epstein files. Seems to be he was right. Lots of 1,380 times his name was mentioned. But anyway, back to Doge. Well, that's the obvious. Every grown adult should be thinking, what happened to saving all the money? Man, they were talking about $5,000 Doge checks. What happened to fixing the machine? Government waste. What happened to the vengeance tour, right? Elon was out there with a chainsaw. People don't want to admit it, but the dogma doesn't replace reality. It's the one office designed to fight the system, right? Is the first one to get the axe.
Okay, I'm not going to play the whole thing for you because he's got like it's a 25-minute piece there, but it's interesting every once in a while to peek on the other side to see what, especially when they are like bitching about what they perceive as having been hoodwinked. A lot of them are waking up to the fact that when Donald Trump made a promise, he had no intention of keeping it. Like the Doge thing, for instance. Doge, not only did Doge not save anywhere close to what Elon was talking about. Elon was talking about $1.5 to $2 trillion savings. Nowhere close to that. In fact, he ended up costing us money. Elon's Doge thing. And now it's closing. Now it's closing 8 months before, and no explanation why. So many promises that this guy made, and it's just lip service. It's nothing but lip service, and these guys are still not getting it. He's been lying since day one. And when I say day one, I don't mean January 20th, 2025. I mean since 2016, when he said Mexico was going to pay for the wall. When he said that he was going to give us a health care plan in 2 weeks. So many promises he made. You know, those, he's been talking about trillions of dollars. He's brought in trillions of dollars in commitments. He doesn't have trillions of dollars. First it was 17 trillion, then it turned into 18 trillion. Now it's up to 21 trillion dollars. The U.S. economy is like 30 trillion. Come on, man. He's just making these things up because he doesn't believe anyone is going to fact check him, because 9 times out of 10 they don't fact check him. Or if they do fact check him, they're like, oh, well, he lied again. That's Trump. Oops. And here's Anna Vandersteel again. This is another one. She's MAGA. She says, I'm MAGA ride or die, but lately I'm feeling like I'm the punchline to a very painful and destructive joke, because now I'm asking myself, did Trump really win the election? Or was it all staged again? Because from where I'm standing, she says, the only ones having victories are the Democrats. That guy who was talking on the video, he was talking about what happened to the revenge tour. So the revenge tour is something that every day that goes by when a Democrat is not being prosecuted, they are mad about that. She says Trump is golfing in Jersey while BlackRock and Vanguard scoop up single-family homes with his Treasury Secretary's blessing. Holy shit. Now she's getting down to the nitty-gritty. He's letting Pfizer and Moderna write the next pandemic playbook. He's handing the keys to our critical minerals to Emirati sheiks and Chinese-linked firms because deals. He's got H-1B visas raining down like confetti. None of this is America first. Phew, boy. So my questions at this point are, what happened to the big Democrat arrests? Why are the left's activist judges running our country? Now, that's funny because half of the time, these federal judges that are ruling against Trump are Trump-appointed judges. This is not liberal activist judges. Like the judge who came down in Texas against the redistricting thing, that was a Trump-appointed judge who clerked for Greg Abbott. Okay, for the record. Why has America First become more like donors first, cronies first, farmer first, tech overlords first, genocidal dictators first? So I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but there are now areas where we are kind of overlapping. Look past your dislike, your distaste for MAGA for a second, right? To acknowledge when they make a good point. Okay? I say that about this person here. I say that about Marjorie Taylor Greene. There's a lot of people who, coming after me like, why are you blowing up Marjorie Taylor Greene? I know she's still who she is. I'm not stupid. But if we have a chance to score some points and she is the person who's going to facilitate that, why wouldn't we take that? Why wouldn't we use it? Why wouldn't we capitalize on that opportunity? Now is the time, folks. If not now, when? When they are fighting each other, this is the time to act. Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro are fighting because Tucker Carlson had the audacity to platform none other than Nick Fuentes, self-described Hitler lover, on his show. Yup. Not only did he have him on his show, but he took a selfie with him, took a picture with him with his arm around him, fully endorsing this neo-Nazi, Nick Fuentes. Now, like I said, I've been watching some of this content all over the place, and everybody, Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson, even Nick Fuentes, every now and then they say something that actually sounds like it makes sense. Would I ever platform any of them? No. No. Because I wholeheartedly disagree with much of what they have to say. Now, Ben Shapiro is all up in his feelings now because he didn't realize that Nick Fuentes was part of his party. Donald Trump had dinner with him during his first term. Did you forget that, Ben? Tucker Carlson has always been this guy. I don't know why. Ben Shapiro, for all of his faults, he does seem like an intelligent guy, actually. But how did you not see that coming when Trump sat down with Nick Fuentes and with Kanye West during Kanye's, Hitler-loving era? Ben, what is happening here? And Candace Owens is a whole lot of crazy. She is a basket full of insanity. She is currently being sued by President Macron and his wife because she's constantly insisting that Emmanuel Macron's wife is a man. And to make matters worse, she is also accused the Macrons of taking out a hit, like millions of dollars, to assassinate her. Apparently, that is what she's saying. So she's crazy right now, and one of the rabbit holes that she is going down is she's bringing up a lot of inconsistencies and coincidences with Charlie Kirk's death. Here's one article. It says Candace Owens reveals Egyptian planes tracked Erica Kirk nearly 70 times in recent years, alleges Egyptian surveillance flights behind Charlie Kirk assassination. And then Candace Owens' Israel allegations derail MAGA unity over Charlie Kirk. Candace Owens is also very much, she has a lot more in common with Nick Fuentes than with me, because she is extremely anti-Semitic. But I believe there is a difference between being critical of Israel and being critical of Jewish people. And I think she is both. I think she's critical of both Jewish people and Israel. So that's highly problematic. And so she is yet another faction of MAGA that she has a following. She has a lot. There's a lot of people. Guys, I could do a whole episode on the Charlie Kirk conspiracies. They have you could fill 4 hours on the conspiracies and not even finish scratching the surface of what, some of the issues they bring up, for instance, is that the area where he was killed was completely redone, repaved, regrassed within a week of that incident. Instead of roping it off as a crime scene, that shit was just as if nothing ever happened there. I think that's strange. That strikes me as strange. But she's spending a lot of time and energy on that, and I'm not sure where she's going with it. But there's people listening to her, and they feel like there is a cover-up, and that she believes that Turning Point USA, which was Charlie Kirk's organization, is complicit, is working with Israel to cover that whole thing up. Weird. Trump Reaper says, if you loaded a playlist of nothing but Charlie Kirk conspiracy videos, it would be 2 days long. Longer. There's so much of it out there. It's scary. Here, Candace Owens says MAGA was destroyed when Donald Trump started attacking his base over the Epstein files. She also says Israel first is a cancer cell. America is waking up. You see what I'm talking about? When I was calling this a MAGA civil war, I wasn't saying that to be cute or funny or whatever or viral. I was saying it because, like, holy shit, I really have not seen them this much in disarray, at odds with themselves. It feels like different people around their party all woke up pissed off, and the center point of their anger is mostly Trump. A lot of them feel disillusioned and lied to by Trump, and it is I take it as a responsibility of my own to inform them and to reassure them that they are not wrong, that they are right, that yeah, he is lying to you. He has been lying to you. One thing, let me tell you something else that makes me mad about Donald Trump. He recently came up with this 50-year mortgage idea. You guys remember that? It came up 3 weeks ago when he started talking about a 50-year mortgage. Now, I'm not the smartest guy when it comes to finances. I'll admit that. But I do know that I wouldn't want to have a 50-year mortgage be a chain around my neck until the day I die. I know that. I know that if you take a 50-year mortgage, then a house that you would end up, that a house that you bought for $400,000, that on a 30-year mortgage you would end up paying $550,000, you will end up on a 50-year mortgage paying like $1 million over the life of that loan, if you survive. Because, on average, what is somebody going to, if you're going to be able to afford the down payment, let's say you finish college at 23, you work for about 7 years, now you've saved up about 10 grand, $10,000 or $15,000 for a down payment. And then that doesn't even cover closing costs and all that shit. So really, think about this and what kind of head fake Donald Trump is giving you when he's throwing a 50-year mortgage at you. It's a fucking insult. It's an insult. And you should be pissed that he's talking about that instead of talking about building more houses. Build some goddamn houses. If you want to make houses more affordable, do that. Don't do this 50-year mortgage thing. That's stupid. That is a fucking insult. And last but not least is the dichotomy between America first and the Make Israel Great Again factions. That's some serious contention right there. There are people who feel like America has been supporting Israel too much, has been sending Israel billions of dollars, and what do we get in return for it? Nothing. Just, protecting Israel like Israel's our little sister or something. But we get nothing in return for it. And there are people both on the left and the right who kind of share this same sentiment. Here's Ted Cruz sniping at Tucker Carlson. He's saying, so Tucker Carlson says he absolutely hates the Republican Party. And I watched that video clip, by the way. And it is what he says in the video, calling it useless and saying he'll fight them because he views their leaders, Republican leaders, as straight up traitors. He says Republicans have done nothing to stop the chemical castration, and I can't read the rest of it. And here's Ted Cruz quote tweeting it, saying, for those keeping score, here's a partial list of who he says, in his own words, he hates. Republicans, Christian Zionists, Shapiro, Levin, and Netanyahu, and Donald J. Trump. With that in mind, his actions make a lot more sense. So this is a full blown this is a full blown war. And how it shakes out, I don't know. But I do know that this is a prime opportunity for us to peel off some disaffected voters, some people who see what's happening and they feel betrayed, and rightfully so. They have been betrayed. That woman, Amy Vandersteel, who was complaining about, Donald Trump prioritizing his donors, and that's absolutely right. Again, I don't have to like you to agree with what you said. And what did she say? Why has America First become more like donors first, cronies first, pharma first, tech overlords first, genocidal dictators first? Yeah, he had Mohammed bin Salman, aka MBS, at the White House and treating him like he was a king. He's a prince, but he treated him like a king, and he was positively giddy to have that king, that Saudi king, the guy who was responsible for the death of Jamal Khashoggi, and also his country was responsible for 9/11, largely responsible for 9/11. Yeah, so people are beginning to wake up. It's the anger about the prices. It's the anger about I thought it was a horrible idea that he had that party, that Great Gatsby party. I thought it was a horrible idea to commit $200 or $300 million for a 90,000 square foot ballroom that nobody asked for, to rip down parts of history of the East Wing and to put up that god-awful, disgusting-looking thing. Soil and Rock Go Mining Ambassador says, a 50-year mortgage, what a joke. Talk about predatory loan practices. And that comment, thank you for that. That's part of the problem with our college loan system, is that people, when Joe Biden was trying to free some people of their loans, it's because if he didn't do that, they would be forever trying to pay those loans off. The interest alone is what they're trying to catch up. They're not making enough money to even pay off the interest on these fucking loans. So they're forever trapped with that thing around their neck, like they would be with a 50-year mortgage. These guys at the top, they don't give a shit about us. Donald Trump is making money hand over fist with the crypto and with all these different scams and games that he's got going. This influence peddling. He is easily one of the worst things to happen to America, and it's not even close. One thing I didn't say at the beginning of this show, one thing I didn't say I was thankful for, I want to say it now. I am thankful for you guys. Those of you who are watching, who are with me right now, you have been with me for years. We've been meeting every week, just kind of kicking the willy bobo and talking about shit that is fucked up, shit that has to change, and keeping each other sane. Those of you who are new to this show, this has been like a little family, a little community for years right now. It's going on 5 years, right? Yeah, 2020, March 2020, March 21st of 2020 was my first episode of Storytime. It was a very low-tech thing, and we just kind of kept each other going. And there's a lot of folks out there that love you guys. So yeah, I am thankful for you, and I'm thankful for being hopeful. That makes any sense to you. I feel hopeful. I really do. And it's not just because of the MAGA implosion. I think this last election, in November, was tremendous. Have you guys been following what's going on in Tennessee? Tennessee, there's a seat that in an area that Donald Trump won by like 22 points. And now it's this woman's name is, I think it's Ashton Bain, and she's competing there. She has a shot. She has a legitimate shot of winning. So there's something that's happening out there right now. People are fed up, and that's part of the reason. Another part of the reason why Donald Trump was so enamored with Mamdani. It's because Mamdani gets it. He understands that, affordability is key. And it's something that Donald Trump actually ran. He ran on affordability. He's been saying, I don't want to hear any more about affordability. He's been saying that now. But a year ago, watch some of his video. He's like, yeah, we're going to make things affordable and blah, 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 blah. That was just a whole lot of bullshit. But Mamdani is like laser focused, and he's going to do everything in his power to make it happen. So I am hopeful that this time next year, Hakeem Jeffries will be our new Speaker of the House, and that we are going to hold people accountable for some of the bullshit that's going on. That's for sure. For the kidnappings, I think there's got to be an accountability. There's got to be some kind of, board or something where people are dragged before it. And why are you treating U.S. citizens like this? Why are you telling a U.S. citizen you don't have any rights? I don't care if you're a citizen. You're not even trying to look at their goddamn documentation that they say they have. And I don't care. You just throw them into a van. Slam them onto the ground, hurting people. Why? Because they've got bounties on them now? You get a bonus for every person that you deny their rights to? This shit has to stop. Has to stop. And whatever happens, that is at the top of things I want to see happen. I want to see that happen more than I want to see our next president be Democratic. That's how badly I want that to happen, because it cannot be allowed to happen again. It's bullshit. It's not us. The shit that I see every day, that's not America. That is some nasty, broken mirror image of what America should never be. Yes, thank you. You guys keep me sane. Oh, look at Lori B. Yeah. I appreciate you guys joining me on this Wednesday night, and for letting me take up your time here. I hope that your families are safe, and I hope that I hope you have somewhere to go tomorrow. That's not necessarily the case. Everybody doesn't have a family to spend time with. If you don't have anywhere to go, I know that there are a lot of places that feed the homeless. It's an idea. I know President Obama has done that several times on Thanksgiving. He's taken his family to go feed the homeless. That could be a way to really feel good about helping somebody. And right now, there are lots of people on food lines, in Donald Trump's golden age economy. There are people on food lines now, just trying to feed their families. So if you can help somebody, do that. But above all, be safe. And I look forward to seeing you guys all here next week. Same time, same place. Happy Thanksgiving. I love you all. Peace.